Good morning, it's V. I wrote a post a little under a year ago on Reddit as I was climbing out of a multi-month depressive episode on these habits I formed that I feel like successfully helped me to recover more quickly, or at least to feel better about myself during that time, and to have a little more energy and get more done. It's fall, which is part of the reason why I'm talking about this. Fall and the changing light and everything else for many people can trigger depression. Some people it has the opposite effect. It's their favorite season and they get excited. Maybe they get more sunlight because they're outside more. I hope some of these are helpful. I will post a link in the description of that original Reddit post. As I said there, if you're going to add habits, do one at a time. And don't be hard on yourself if you don't get it right away. Habits are not easy to build. But here we go. Guidelines 1 through 3 all have to do with setting goals in the morning. While depressed, one usually doesn't do many things out of a burst of inspiration or energy, and structure becomes very important. Guideline 1. When depressed, especially, I try to set 5 to 10 goals for myself. For the second guideline, I try to make one of these goals about my mental health. Guideline 3, I try to have a goal that gets me outside to shake up feelings and tendencies of isolation and to build momentum, to maybe do some other things outside, and also just to hopefully get a little bit of sunlight. So for today, I want to go for a hike to serve my mental health, and because it's beautiful outside, I want to film, which I'm already doing. I want to edit, to take out the trash, which is like an outdoor activity that can get me rolling, to get in the car, to go hike. I want to visit my friend's cat. She's out of town. And I want to just clean the kitchen. Guidelines 1 through 3 could look something like that.
So guideline 4 is to take a cold shower. This gets the blood rushing into the heart and the brain, and that can be really invigorating. It also kind of sucks, so I don't do it every day. But you can check out the link in the description for why this is helpful for depression.
Guideline 5 is to complete 1 to 3 of the goals that I set before I leave the house. This helps me feel like I've already accomplished something for the day when I go out, and even if all else falls apart, I have something. So I'm going to clean this embarrassing kitchen as my goal I'm going to finish before I leave the house. Okay, all done. I tried to film it, but something went wrong. I was going to speed it up, but done with 5. On to 6. Guideline 6 is to eat protein and vegetables, as many meals as possible. Protein keeps your energy up, and protein and vegetables give you all the building blocks you need to build your cells. You do need carbs, but we get plenty, plus carbs just kind of spike your energy up, and then you crash and you're hungry very quickly. I'm going to make breakfast. Okay, this open-faced mess of a sandwich is what I'm going to have for breakfast. I'll see you at number 7. Okay, So this is guideline number 7. It's pretty important. The whole goals setting can be kind of scary if you hold yourself to meeting all of them. I aim for 80%, and that's got a lot of wiggle room. I try to calibrate and listen to myself. And so I go to the board and I check off what I did and X out what I don't. Guideline 8 for me was to limit my consumption of media. In the darkest part of my depression, I was watching TV and playing video games pretty much constantly while I was awake. Either that or just distracting myself in some other way, because otherwise my brain would just be caught in these loops of beating myself up, and I wouldn't be able to escape. That would happen to me at night and in the morning, and I would just lie there in bed thinking terrible things about myself and life and for hours. And during my waking time, distracting myself with TV and video games was the only way for a while that I could cope. But after a while, I was able to retire that coping mechanism and find more intentional ways of using my free time that made me feel even better. Perhaps weren't as good at keeping my brain off things, but I didn't need that as much anymore. So that was 8. Guideline 9 was to not use any screens in the hour before bed. This was to allow myself to get tired at a natural time. Also, this allows for an hour to care for yourself. So that was guideline 9. Guideline 10 was to, before going to bed, write down some things that I was thankful for that day. I'm looking back at some of the first things I wrote when I started to do this. One day I wrote Goodwill and finding 2 pairs of jeans, 2 for $5 Filet-O-Fish, proximity to cities. Next day, Pretty Little Liars and it being over. I binged all of that show. That's how. Not having the desire to binge Vidya. 3 of my coworkers at the time. My parents in that they check in. Then a third day, a friend, honesty and intimacy, beautiful sunny skies, 90s music, and a lack of serious suicidal thoughts. So they could be anything, just aligning your mind to something positive before going to bed. I find that my brain kind of churns over what I was thinking before bed significantly, so drifting off with something positive can be really good, and it just helped me to appreciate some things when my brain would only naturally really go to the negative. I hope some of these are helpful. Again, it's very individual. What's going to help you is different. Many of these were alleviating my negative cycles that I was stuck in. And that can be very important, just changing your perspective and your thinking. And it can be almost impossible to do when you're depressed. But it doesn't mean it's not worth trying. You just have to try without judging yourself and without beating yourself up when it doesn't work, and just accepting how it goes. So, love you all, and have a great day. Goodbye, my beautiful NBs, my strong bipolar friends too, and all of you allies, brazen and free, so long and blessed be.